On today's episode, the Rockstar goes tubeless.
All right, enough clowning around. I'm gonna attempt to make the tires tubeless. Right now they have tubes in them. These tires come tubeless ready. Right here, I got the valve stems. They're Schrader valves. That should work. That's our goal today, to make these tires tubeless. And I'll talk about the benefits of that versus tubes. All right, let's get started. All right, let's remove that front wheel. All right, I set that crate under there for support. The stand was doing pretty good holding the bike, but I don't 100% trust it. This bike's 83 pounds. I know a lot of you have asked about this stand. Park Tools, PCS1. I don't think they make it anymore. I'm sure they make a version of it, but this thing is from the early 2000s. Great stand. All right, so for this conversion, this is what I'm going to use. We got our valve stems, 1-inch wide Gorilla tape that I'm going to line the rims with. Some tire irons to remove the tire or tire plastics, some gloves, and some sealant. First things first, I'm going to remove the air. And I have a valve stem puller that I'm going to use. I'm just going to pull this valve stem completely out. All right, there she blows. All right, so I'm breaking the bead off the rim, work it all the way around. Get your tire iron, put that on there, put a little spit on here, start working this all the way around. There we go. Break that seat off of that rim. There we go. Here's your tube. Save that tube for a spare. Nothing wrong with that. Put the tire aside. Now this might look like rim tape, but it's not. So you can see here, it's not an actual rim tape. It's not stuck to the rim. It's just protecting those spoke nipples. So we're going to remove this. Now we're going to put our Gorilla tape over this. So what I like to do is take some rubbing alcohol and a lint-free cloth. Clean that rim. The inner inside of that rim looks clean visually, but you don't want any contamination on there. So we'll rub it down with some alcohol. Any contamination off there. Make sure you let this dry before applying the Gorilla tape. It's rubbing alcohol, so it dries fairly fast. All right, while I'm here, I'm going to measure the internal width of this rim. 4 centimeters, 40 millimeters wide. That is a beefy rim. Beefy. All right, so I'm going to start my Gorilla tape right here at the valve stem hole. And I'm going to overlap it about 1/2 inch. I'm going to go completely around the rim, and then I'm going to overlap it by another 1/2 inch. So here we go. All right, stretching that tape out. And Nice and tight. Running it right directly over the center. Covering all those nipple holes from your spokes. All right, here I come. 1/2 inch past the Schrader valve hole. There we go. Now I like to press down, so I'll use this tire iron. Press down, make sure that tape is completely adhered to this rim. We don't want any leaks. And I've done this before on a couple of other bikes, so I've had success. I know the Gorilla Tape works. You don't need some fancy rim tape that you're gonna pay like 30, 40 bucks for. Just go get the Gorilla Tape. 1 inch typically works. Like I said, these are 40 millimeters wide. So, but still, nice and firm. Don't want any leaks. All right. Looking pretty pimp. Now we're going to find that valve stem hole and put a little tiny hole in there so we can insert our new valve stem. All right, so our valve stem hole is there. Just going to use this tool. Nice little hole right there. All right, so with everything removed off the valve stem, I'm going to insert it through the hole now. Just like so. So this one came with an O-ring. Make sure you don't drop that or lose it. It goes right inside there. So this valve stem, the nut takes an 11 millimeter, and you want to snug that on there pretty dang good. Just to make sure that it's biting. It's a little difficult to get in there, but you get the point in the picture. All right, nice and snug. Actually looks really good. Let me bring the camera so you can see this. So those are new threadless, tubeless valve stem. All right, so there's two ways of doing this when adding your stand sealant. You can either pour it in here directly before you seat the bead back on the rim, or you can completely remove your valve stem and inject it in there. Today, I'm going to pour directly because these are 3.0 wide tires. It's going to take a lot of sealant. So I'm going to go directly into there. Ooh. Nice and generous amount. All right, now that I got the tire back on the rim, I am going to remove the valve stem and I'm going to seat the bead with my air compressor. So you want to remove this valve stem. All right, valve stem removed. This is your valve stem tool. If you don't have one of these, probably going to need one. All right, now we're going to put some air in this and seat the bead. All right, so I got about 60 psi in my compressor. These tires take 30 max, but we might need a little bit more to seat that bead. All right, so here we go. Hope this works. Got that on there. Now we're going to replace the valve stem Now that the bead's seated onto the rim, you can see if it holds air. All right, now the valve stem is replaced, and you're probably wondering why I did that. That's just so you get the max flow as fast as you can. You want to get that bead seated onto that rim. And with the valve stem in there, it's going to restrict your flow of air. So here we go. Bring it up to 30. Got that sealant. Coat the inside surface. Bounce it around a little bit. Make sure it's seated onto that rim, your bead of your tire. Don't hit the sauna with your rim. Wife will get pissed. So that's it. That's how you make a tube tire tubeless. Look at those fatties, 3.0. All right, so if you guys want to try this, hope this helps. I'll put the link to the valve stems in the description. And that's pretty much all you need to do to make your tires tubeless. And the benefits of tubeless are: reduces weight from the tires, eliminates pinch flats, and eliminates the need for a patch kit. I've ran tubeless on my other bike for a few years, and knock on wood, I have not gotten one single flat running tubeless. I have run over at least 20 goat head thorns. Those are the kind that puncture the Kevlar liners and everything. And you just pull the goat head thorns out or leave them in, and the holes seal right up, from my experience. I have burped a rear tire, which I was doing a jump, and didn't have enough pressure in the rear, and it kind of burped a little bit of air out of the sidewall up here. But, you know, I still got home safely. No need for a tube. I do carry a spare tube in 29, and I do run 27.5s, but I carry a 29-inch tube just in case a fellow rider that rides a 29er might need a tube. But yeah, so far I've never had to use it. So that's it. All right, just finished with the rear. It's holding there. Let's put it all back together. All right, so here's the rear axle that I pulled out. Not a drop of grease, so we're gonna grease that. And another thing I noticed is your derailleur hanger. It just kind of sits right in there. It's not bolted down or anything, it just kind of sits right in there. It's kind of funky. I guess it works though.
Works great.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Another satisfied customer. Yeah, I think I only have 26 PSI in it, so you can mess around. You can mess around with the settings.
That's about right.
All right, cool. Looks good.
Minor curve head, but
should be softer and more grippy.
Heck yeah.
That's the point of it.
Cut out about what, 6 ounces?
Probably. Whatever those tubes weigh. There it is.
That's only 82 and 10 ounces.
Yeah. What a beast though. So now you don't have to worry about pinch flats, goat heads. Just run over everything and carry a spare tube just in case. Right on. Cool.
Thank you.
You got it.